much fluent in. I write Python most of the time. I build, I've built most of my projects in Python. Yeah. So that's what I do. I'm a Pythonista. Yeah. So Python is a programming language. Okay. And then Python is also a name of a particular or a species of a snake. All right. Good. But today we are going to talk about Python in programming, in computing. Okay. So Python is one of the most popular programming languages. It can be used to create web applications on a server. It can be used for prototyping. It can be used for writing scripts. It is much more popular in the AI and then machine learning world. And then when you go to the cybersecurity sector, Python is prevalent. Most people write scripts in Python. Okay, so Python is not only limited to the software engineering field. Python can be done in the cybersecurity field. It can be done almost in every field. Okay. Yes. So we are going to look into Python today. All right. So if anybody is wondering why I write most of my stuff in Python, I would say that Python is versatile and then it's universal. You can use Python anywhere, everywhere. Okay. Yes, what you can write in C++, I can also write something in Python. What you can write in Java, I can write similar thing in Python. I can use Python in AI, I can use Python in cybersecurity, I can use Python on the web. And then that is why I prefer to use Python because it can be used in any area. All right. I use Python because of its versatility. All right. So that is what we are going to look into today. All right. So in my browser, I just type Python. Okay. So I'm going to take you through how to install Python on Windows. Yeah, on Windows. Yeah. Why Windows? I would say that for those using Mac, I'm currently using Mac. Those using Mac and then those on Linux, Python is automatically installed. It is pre-installed with the operating system, so you needn't install Python again. For Windows users, you have to install Python again. Okay, so this is what you do. You just go here, type Python, and then this is the official Python site. Okay, so you click on this one. Welcome to Python, and then you see the download section here. So this is the latest one. Okay, so you can just click on this one and then you scroll down and then you check the operating system that you are on. So if you're on Windows, you could just click on this one, download Python install manager. Okay, and then you download this one. Okay, so if you download this one, then you go through the, okay, hold on, let me take my Windows machine so that I can install it for you. So I would want you guys to give me like a couple of seconds so that I can share my screen for my Windows machine. Okay, so I'll be switching my screen to my Windows machine. Okay, so then let me stop sharing from here. Can you hear me now? All right. So um, I am currently running the 3.12.10, but the latest one is 3.14.15. I don't want to overwrite it because I'm using that version for something. So I would scroll down, or the best thing I can do in this case is go to downloads, okay, and then go to Windows, yeah, and then I'll look for that particular version that I am on currently. So the version I'm on is 3.12.10. So in order to confirm, yeah, 3.12.10. So I'll scroll. So 3.12 dot. Oh, crazy. I'm not getting it. Okay, don't worry. So, for the purpose of our studies for today, let me let me just install. Okay, I've seen this one. It's this one. Good. So I'm installing the executable file. Okay, good. So for those that are installing Python for the first time, you can just click on this one and then install this one. Okay, download that one and then install. So I'll just click on install. So let me minimize it. So this is it. Okay. So you can just click on install now, and then all next installation are checked. Okay. And then you click on next, and then you select all these. Okay. And then install. But when you install from here, it will be in this. But if you install from this side, it will go to the app data. Okay, so this one is just a choice. Okay, so wherever you install it, um, as long as you add it to the path, it will work. All right, so you don't need to bother about that. So you can just continue from there. So you can choose install now, and then it will install. It is saying that another version of this product is already installed, so I'll not be able to continue from there. All right, but for you guys, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so let me close this one, and then let me try and then uninstall. See, this is it. So let me uninstall. So I'm doing this for the sake of those running Windows. Okay. Like I said, for those on Mac and then Linux, you needn't install it again because it comes with the OS. Okay. You don't have to install Python again. So let me remove it and then I can reinstall it for you to see. Okay, so while it is uninstalling, this is what we will do. I wouldn't want us to use a code editor for now. I would want us to understand the fundamentals because we are basically not going to use the editor for anything right now. So for the first 2 weeks, we are going to stick to the terminal. We are going to understand the fundamentals, how things work with Python in the terminal before we move on with installing extensions in our code editor and then using those and all. Okay, and then using our code editor to write the um, the Python code or the Python script. All right, so um, that is what we are going to do. But if you'd want to ask what code editor we are going to use, we are going to use VS Code. Okay. And then I suppose all of you know what VS Code is. Yeah. So VS Code is one of the famous code editors in the programming world. So thank you. So most people use code editor. Yes. For me, I'm a big fan of VS Code. Okay. Yeah. And then sorry for the delay in the uninstall. I don't know why it's taking too long, but you should just didn't take that one. Okay, so someone is raising a hand. Okay, James, you can talk.
Please, can you go back to the installation from the browser?
All right, sure. Okay, so I'm here.
So in the first place, I'll search for Python.
Yes,
So
so
when it comes, where will I go again?
so you can just search Python. Okay, and then you see the official website link for Python. Then you click on it. All right, good.
All right.
You can see this one, latest 3.14.5. Then you click on that one. Okay. Then you scroll down and then you select the operating system that you are on. So I'm currently on Windows, so I can just click on this one, download Python install manager. Then I click on this one. Okay. And then I can click on this one to download the MSIX file, or I can just click on this one to download it. Okay. So I am downloading the Microsoft installer file. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So Python as uninstall. Then this one too has uninstalled. Good. I so now I have downloaded the MSIX. So I can open this one and then it is loading. Okay. So launch went ready. So I'll click install Python. Okay. So it is installing Python. Now, this is what you will see. So configuring this enables commands like Python 3.14.exe to run from your terminal. Okay. So it is asking if we would want to add it to the directory and then to the path. So the app data that I was talking about is this. So this path is what Python is going to be added in. So add command directly to your path. So now I can click on yes. Now look at something. Let me open a new terminal and then I type Python. Now it is saying that it is installing Python. Okay, but this isn't what I wanted to show you. I wanted to um, run it without adding it to the path. But I have an installer configured here, so it will directly install it. Okay. So let me just add it to the path. And then, so path has been updated. Okay. So view online help. No, we don't need online help. So no. So That is all. So Python now has been added to our path. So now when I open a new
Please.
terminal, then I type Python, I should see the new version that I installed, 3.1.4.5. So this is how you install Python. James, you still have your hand up.
Maybe. Actually, my network went down, so I missed the terminal. So when it comes, it says update settings. So I should select the Y or the N, but
Yes,
my network
update.
went down.
So choose Y. Choose Y.
Y.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And it has come add patch a command directory to your path now.
Yes. So choose
Y2.
Y. Yes.
All right. And install C Python now. CP C Python now. That one
You
to
you
Y, right?
you don't really need that, but you can choose Y. I'll explain that one.
All right.
And
Okay.
then what else?
It is installing Python 3.4, 3.14.5, extracting, so it's loading.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I have view online help Y then N.
So you can choose no. That's N.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now the terminal is gone.
Yeah. So yes, you can close the terminal and then open it again.
So with the terminal, I will type CMD or
No, just click on the start button and then type terminal. What Windows are you running?
11.
So you can just type terminal and then you open the
Oh,
terminal.
all right. It has come.
All right. Cool. So now you can mute yourself.
All right.
So this is how you install Python. Okay. So if you want to exit from here, you can type exit and then you bring your parenthesis. Okay. Then you press enter. It will exit from the Python shell. Okay. Now, this is what. So now let me switch to my Mac. Yeah. So now I'm currently back on my Mac. Okay. So now look at something. When I open the terminal, yes. Now, when I open the terminal and then I type Python, okay, on Mac, it gives me command not found because Mac and then Windows are two separate operating systems. If I want to open Python on Mac, I have to type the actual version. So I have to type Python 3 to open the actual Python version for me. Now, the reason why I'll have to type Python 3 to be able to enter into the Python shell on Mac is that Python in its development phase gone through three phases. There was the first version of Python. We had the Python version 2, and then we are currently on the Python version 3. All right. Yes, and then that is why you need to type the current version. Now, why do I keep making the same mistakes? Now, I am currently in the terminal. When I type Python 3 or Python, and then I see this, Now, this one moved from the terminal into something we called a shell. So currently, I am in a Python shell. Okay, I am in a Python shell. So that is why you see this greater than sign. So this means that you are in a Python shell. Okay, good. So now in the Python shell, it gives you the capability to run Python commands. Okay, good. So now in your C++ workshop, you did something. The facilitator, when he was taking you through, he did see out hello world. Okay. So console out is how you output information for someone to see in C++. But in Python, we do something called print. We utilize what we call the print function. So the print function is what allows us to output something to the user. Okay. So in Python, if you want to output something, use print. You bring your parentheses, you open your parentheses, you bring your colon, and then you type hello world. So now I am initiating you to the Python lessons. So this is our lesson 101 in the Python class. Hello world. So if I want to say, I welcome you all GDG TTU community to the Python lesson. This is what I will do. I will type print. I welcome GDG TTU to the Python lesson. So I welcome GDGTT to the Python lesson. So this is how you output something to a user. Now, who can tell me something I did differently in these two print statements? I did two things differently. Who can point it out to me? I want to see if you guys are following. I did something different. Okay, Ezekiel.
Yeah, so I saw you using the quotation mark, the one with the double and then the one the single one.
Oh, okay. And then you think I was wrong or I was right?
I think you,
Use
I think it's right since it's printed. So
okay, cool. So okay, Brainiac. Uh-huh. Yes. You have your hand up. Hello. All right. So I'll proceed. So I did that intentionally. Okay. I did that intentionally. Yes. Why? Because I wanted to show you how it works in Python. Okay. Good. Now you can either choose to use that the double quotation or the single quotation. There's nothing wrong with using either of them. Okay, good. So in Python, you can either use the single quotation or the double quotation. It will work regardless. It doesn't matter. Okay, yes. So I intentionally use that to draw your attention and then make sure that you are following. Okay, good. Now, the Python programming language has a wide range of syntactical constructions, standard libraries and functions. Okay, and then you can ignore most of that. Okay, You just need to learn enough to write some handy little programs. Okay, good. So I have showed you how to enter into the Python shell. So this is currently the Python shell. Okay. So if I want to do a simple computation, let's say 2 plus 2. Okay. So 2 plus 2. I'm in the Python shell. So when I press enter, who can guess the output? Mm-hmm. Okay, Ezekiel. Ezekiel, I'm listening. All right, no problem.
Sorry,
Yeah, so 2 plus 2.
I don't think it's give you an answer, or I'm wrong.
So what is your response? So you don't know. Okay, fine, no problem. So 2 plus 2 give us 4. Yes, so 2 plus 2 will give us 4. Now in Python, 2 plus 2 is called an expression. So this you see here is called what? An expression. Okay, so expression is one of the most basic kind of programming instruction in the language. Okay, so this you see here is an expression. Okay, you have I am emphasizing on the keywords so that you know how to use the keywords in programming. So 2 plus 2 is an expression. Okay, so what is an expression? So expression consists of values and operators. Okay, and then they can always evaluate. Okay, so evaluation means to reduce down to a single value. Okay, so this that you saw here is an expression. And then I said that expression consists of values. So the two that you see here, two and then two here are values. And then the plus that you see here is called what? An operator. Okay, so 2 plus 2 will give you what? 4. So that is that. Okay. Now, a single value 2 without any operator is also called an expression. Why? Because it also evaluates only to itself. Okay, so if I type 2, the output would be what? 2. Okay, so I have explained what expressions are in Python. Okay, now I talked about expressions, I talked about values. Now let me talk about operators. Now we have talked about the addition operator. Okay, yes, I am saying operator and then I'm not using a symbol. So listen carefully. I'm saying operator. Okay. So now we have the plus operator, the minus operator. We have the multiplication operator. Now, multiplication in programming is not X. X is not a multiplication sign or a multiplication operator in programming. In programming, asterisk is our multiplication operator, nothing more, nothing less. The slash, the forward slash is our division operator. And then the double slash is called an integer division or floor division. Okay, floor division. And then the percentage is called a modulo. Okay, and then in Python, if you use 2 asterisks, it gives you what? An exponent. An exponent. Okay, good. So these are operators in Python. Okay, so now let's play around with the operators. Okay, so if I do 2 minus 2, it will give you what? 0. If I do 5 minus 2, it will give me what? 3. If I do 3 times 5, it should give me what? 15. If I do 22 divided by 8, it should give me what? 2.75. But if I do 22 divided, or I use the floor division by 8, it should give me what? 2. Why? Because it rounded back to the whole number. It didn't round it forward. It rounded it back to the whole number. And then if I do 22 modulo 8, it will give me what? 6. You know how modulo works, right? I don't have to be teaching you mathematics. Yeah. And then if I do 2 using 2 asterisk operators by 3, then that means I am invoking what? An exponent. So 2 exponent 3 is what? 8. So 2 exponent 3 in mathematics is the same as what? 2 times 2 times 2. Oh, good. So these are the operators. Now, I have showed you the operators. Now, in programming, if you want to do a mathematical computation, it also follows the same precedence in mathematics. Okay, it follows precedence. Now, when you say precedence, precedence is order of operations. Order of operations. So, for example, if you type 2 plus 3 times 6, it follows what? The order of precedence. So, from left to right. So, now it will first add 2 plus 3, which will give you 5, multiplied by 6. Okay. Uh-huh. But you have to understand something. If you do something like this, 2 plus 3 multiplied by 6, and then you do something like 2 plus 3 in a bracket multiplied by 6, it means something different. It means something different. Now, let's try both and see. So if I do 2 plus 3 multiplying 6, and then I press enter, it will give me 20. But if I do 2 plus 3 multiplied by 6 with the 2 plus 3 in the bracket, and I press enter, it will give me 30. Why? Because in this first expression, it did 3, 6, 18 plus 2, which gave us 20. And then below, it did 2 plus 3, which gave us 5, multiplied by what? 6, and gave us what? 30. Okay, good. So you have to be mindful of these things when you are writing mathematical computations in Python. Okay, good. So it follows the same logic, all right, in mathematics. That's why I was telling you that I don't have to be teaching you mathematics. It is similar to that of mathematics using the Python computations. Okay. Now, today will be the last time I will be reading the chat. If you have any question, I've said that you should raise your hand. You shouldn't be typing. I just saw it from the next meeting. I won't be viewing the chat crumple. So raise your hand. So someone is saying, so in Python, when you are writing a sentence, you bring print in front of the sentence. And for numbers, you don't need it, right? Well, I wouldn't want to explain that today or now because we have not gotten there yet. I will explain why you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, but well, for the sake of today's class. Now, I wanted to do mathematical computations. That is why I didn't bring the print statement. If I had done 2 plus 3 plus 6, and then I did print, and then I brought these, it wouldn't calculate anything. It will see everything inside the print statement as what? A string. A string that I just wanted to show you, not calculate. So if you bring print, it means that you want to output something for someone to see. Okay? But for values, for figures, if you want to do a straight computation, you needn't bring a print statement. You can just type 2 plus 2 to compute it, to give you the value, the final answer. But if you want to print for user to see, if you want to show what you want the user to see, you can just do 2 plus 2 in a print statement, and then it will just output it without calculating it. So that is how it works. Okay, good. So that's why I said the print statement is used to output something for someone to see. That's why I didn't say anything about computation. Okay, good. So that is that. Mm, good. So now let's talk about integers, floating point, and then string data types. So now we are moving into data types. Now, I am going to show you 3 data types today, and then we will do something small, and then we will end our lesson for today. Okay. So now, when we say an integer, you all know what an integer is. An integer is just 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, -5, -6, -7, 0, 9, 10. So anything, any whole number is an integer, whether it's negative or positive. It's an integer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, -1, -2, -3. They are all integers. Okay. And then if you see something like 1.2, 2.4, 3.5, 6.7, these are what we call floats or floating point numbers. They are called what? Floating point numbers because it has what? Decimals. Okay. Floating point numbers because of the decimals that it has. And then from there, if you see anything in the middle of a 2 quotation marks in Python, it is called a string. If you even see numbers in a quotation mark, it is called what? A string. All right. If you see anything in quotes in Python, it is considered as a string. But if you see something like this, it is what? An integer. All right. So note that. Okay. So these are some of the common data types that you have in Python. Okay. Good. So for example, um, yes, for example, let's do something. I've showed you what integers are. I've showed you floating point numbers. I've showed you strings. So let's do something called string concatenation and replication. String concatenation. So string concatenation is just simple. This one is just a homogeneous word. So string concatenation is more like adding or combining 2 strings combining two strings. So, for example, I see someone called Ezekiel Ampa. Okay. So, if I see someone called Ezekiel, so Ezekiel, I have Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel. And then I have Ampa. But if I want to combine these two, that is what is called string concatenation, combining those strings, okay, together. So just like you can add two figures, 2 plus 2 to get 4, you can add two strings, okay? So you can do Ezekiel plus Ampa, and then you get what? Ezekiel Ampa. You can do 2 plus 2 and get what? 4. But you cannot do Ezekiel plus 2. It is not possible. Now, look at the error you got. It said what? Type error can only concatenate strings, not int to string. So you can add two figures, but you cannot add a string and then an integer. It doesn't work. If you want to combine a string and then an integer, you have to convert the integer into a string to be able to combine those two. All right? That is how you do it. Else, you will not be able to do that. Okay, so you cannot combine and you cannot concatenate a string and then an integer. Okay, it does not work. The same way, you cannot multiply I said something I shouldn't have said. So in the Python 2, you can't multiply two strings. But in the Python 3, you can replicate strings by multiplying them. Okay, you can replicate the strings by multiplying them. So I have one Ezekiel here. If I want to replicate the Ezekiel, I can multiply the Ezekiel by any number that I want. Okay. So first I multiplied Ezekiel by 2 to get Ezekiel. Okay. Yes. By 2, you can, by a figure, you can multiply. But you cannot multiply two strings. That was what I wanted to say. Okay. You cannot multiply two strings. So if you do Ezekiel, you can't. Okay. Yes. You can multiply a string by a figure, but you cannot multiply two strings. It won't work. Okay. And then note, you can convert an int into an integer unless the string that you are converting to integer is a figure. Okay. Yes. So put that in your head. We will try all of that. But since today is our introductory session, I just want to open you up to stuff you can do and stuff you cannot do in Python. Okay, good. So I've talked about concatenation and then replication. So I'm going to break for a while. If you have any question, you can put it out and then we can continue from here. So I'm waiting for your questions. If you have any question, you can unmute and then speak. So it looks like there are no questions. So if you all are clear from where I started to where I've ended, you can give me a thumbs up so that I know that you are following before I proceed. All right. All right. Cool. So I can see a thumbs up. All right. So now let me proceed. So this is just Python. Python is cool. I wouldn't say it's simple. It's cool. Oh, it's simple to write. It's cool. It's cool. Let me put it that way. It's cool. So let's move on into variables. Now, a variable is more like a box, okay? A box in a computer's memory where you can store a single value, okay? So if you want to use the result of an evaluated expression later in your program, you can save it inside a variable, okay? Good. So you will store values in a variable with an assignment statement. Okay. So if we talk about an assignment statement consists of a variable name, an equal sign. Okay. So a variable name. So let's say I want to store a value. Okay. So and then a value is a name. I'll type name because I would want to store a value. And then that value is a name. Okay, so I'll type name. So, like I said, an assignment statement consists of what? A variable name and then an equal sign. So, the name that you see here is the variable name. Okay, and then the equal sign. Okay, and then I'm going to assign a value to the name. Okay, so the name that I'm going to assign is what? Wings. Okay, so then I have what? Name is equal to wings. So now whenever I type, I want to output wings, I don't have to type wings. I'll have to type what? I have to output name. So now when I press enter, oh, sorry, I'm not in my Python shell. So name is equal to wings. Okay. So now if I want to output wings, I will have to just do what the print statement and then type name. And then I'll get what? Wings. Now note, I didn't have to bring the quotation marks here. Why? Because I have stored this one, this thing, this wings in name. So now name is now what? My variable. And then this is the value. So if I want to print the value, I wouldn't have to input the value here. I have to type what? The variable so that I will get what? The value. Okay. So now I have assigned wings to what? Name. All right. Good. So let's say, let's use this. You all use mails, right? Good. Now, when you open your Gmail, you will see that your inbox has, let's say, um, 40 emails, you have 500 emails. So those 50 figures, 50 mails, have been stored in your inbox. So now your inbox is now what? A box that stores your mail. And then how many mails have you received? 50. So you can do the same thing in Python. So I can do inbox and then equal to what? 40. And a note, 40 is a figure. It is not what a string, it's not a word. Okay, it's a figure. So I wouldn't have to do what? Bring a quotation mark. It's an integer. Okay. And then I want to treat it as a figure as such. So I'll do inbox is equal to 40. Now, if I want to print the number of mails I have in my inbox, I can do print and do I have hmm, let me use the plus first, and then I'll use the comma and explain why I used that. So I want to print the number of mails I have in my inbox. So when I press enter, it says what I have plus. Oh shit, I did a mistake. So this is the mistake that I was talking about. I was trying to concatenate string with an integer. Okay, it won't work. All right, good. So now let me use the comma. So then I have 40 in my mail. All right, I have 40 in my mail. So in order to make the sentence read nicer, I can edit this one and then I can say I have 40 emails. So I can do emails in my mail box. So now when I press enter, it reads what I have 40 emails in my mailbox. So now you see how I am using the print statement. You see, very good. So this is how you use it. Now, in the previous statement that I made, I told you you cannot concatenate what a string with an integer, and that was exactly what I was doing here. I intentionally did that. Okay, to show you that it is true that you cannot do that. That is why I used the comma instead. All right. Uh-huh. So it is not like my team. It was intentional. Okay, good. This is how you learn. All right. You learn, you try. Uh-huh. So in explaining it, I have used it in a real world situation to make you understand why it is not used. Okay, good. So now I have what? Now when I print inbox again, since 40 is still stored as a value in the variable inbox, I should get what? 40, because we haven't actually touched the 40 figure. Okay. Now I have inbox 40, and then let's say I have spam mails, like let's say 3. Now someone should give me the output of this. Someone should give me the output of this. Mhm. Someone should give me the output of this one. Okay, yes, Prince Gordon.
43, please.
43. Anybody else? Yes, anybody else? All right. So yes, moment of truth is 43. Now, who can explain why it is 43? Mhm. Who can explain why it is 43? Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so please, because they are both integers and you are adding them,
All right. All
so
right. All right.
so use the addition.
Cool. 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 Yes. Anybody else? Mm-hmm. So I'll. Okay. Yes, Francis, I see you do.
Yeah, so I think the inbox contain an integer and the spam to contain an integer. So when you add both of them, it's going to produce the
Very
final
good.
answer.
Very
That's
good.
43.
Very good. So inbox has a value of 40. It is an integer, 40. And then spam is also an integer of what? 3. So it's more like 40 plus 3, 43. Now, if I want to confirm that inbox and then spam is an integer, I can invoke something called the type to see the kind of data type inbox and then type is. So I can do type and then do inbox to see the actual data type. So you realize that it is of what data type? Integer. That is why we are able to do what? Add them as what? Integers. Because it has a value of 40 and then 3. You get it? So this is how you also check the kind of data type that you are using, or the current data type of the value you have assigned to the variable. Okay, good. So this is how it works. This is how it works. Hmm, good. All right. Now let me do spam is equal to hello. So now spam is now hello. Now if I do inbox plus spam, what would the answer be? Mhm. What would the answer be? Okay, yes, Janet.
Okay, please, it wouldn't work. You are going to get a syntax error because one is an integer and the other is a string.
Okay. Yes, Francis. Francis, yes. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I'm not sure it will work because one is a string and one is an integer. So
All right. So the moment of truth, press enter. So it says what? Type error. Unsupported operand type 4 plus integer and string. Okay. So Janet, you are right, but you have to make sure that you state the actual error. It is a type error, not a syntax error. Okay. It's a type error. Good. Good. Now let me explain why. Your reasons are good. Okay. But let me explain why. Because I did something before I tried to add them. Now, you see here, spam was created, a variable was created, and then it was assigned what? 3. Okay. So there, a variable was initialized for the first time, and then 3 was stored in it. Okay. Now, after a value has been assigned to a variable and then you assign a new value to the variable. The old value is forgotten. Okay, the old value is forgotten. So now spam is not 3 anymore. Spam was assigned with a new value, hello. Okay, good. So that is how come we got a type error because spam was now hello, and then we wanted to add it to 40, which is not possible because we said that you cannot add an integer to a string. You are good. So that is how come it didn't work. Okay. All right. So the last thing for today, before I accept questions, yes. I've talked about variables. Now let me talk about variable names. Now, in course of your programming courses, what they've been teaching you at school, they'll be telling you A is equal to 8, B is equal to 7. Yes, it is good to use A is equal to 8, B is equal to 7. But in a real world, we don't use A is equal to 8, B is equal to 7. It is not done. Don't do that. Now you saw that when I wanted to assign a value to a variable, I used what name. Why? Because the value that I was assigning to the variable was actually a name. So I didn't have to use A and B. Yes. Now imagine you are writing a big software, a very huge software, and then you assign a value to a variable name called A. What is A referring to? You will forget it. And that is why it is essential for you to use a word or a sentence as a variable name so that it becomes readable for people you are working with. I'm a software engineer. I work within a team. I'm a backend developer. Okay. Yes. So if I'm writing a backend and then I use A and B, I will forget because if I'm giving an API endpoint to my front end team member and then I'm still using A and B, it wouldn't make sense. We would just be using A, B, C, and then it actually means nothing in our code. Okay. That is why in programming you see something like first underscore name. So then that means that um, the backend developer wants what a first name. But instead of first name, I'm going to control A. What am I referring to? Like I'm not making sense. All right. So first name, for example, this one is one of the best ways to name a variable. Okay, first name. So you can do last underscore name. It is good. Okay. You can also do camel casing. You can do last name. It is good. You can also do last name. It is also good. Okay. You can also do underscore last name. It is also good. Okay. Very good. You can also do yes, you can also do first name one. It's also good. But you cannot do one first name. Don't ever do that. It is not allowed. And then, for example, first hyphen name, hyphens they are invalid. It is not allowed. Spaces for variables are not allowed. For example, if I do first name is equal to wings, you see, invalid syntax. It is not allowed. All right. It is not allowed. Mm. You cannot begin a variable with a number. It is not allowed. You see, it is not allowed. All right. but you can do, let's say, current balance is equal to 90. It is allowed. You can do current balance is equal to 90. What did I do? I did minus equal to 90. It is allowed. You can do current balance 1 is equal to 80. It is allowed. But you can't do 1 current is equal to 20. In fact, but you can do shirt or shoe is equal to Balenciaga. Works. Bob. Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the valid variable names you can use. Okay. Very good. So it is 8:24, and then I have taught you so many things. In our next session, we'll actually start with writing our first Python program. So if you have any question, please let it flow before we end today's session. If you have any question, you can let it flow. Let it flow before we end today's session. So if today's session was very interactive, intuitive, and understandable, you can give me a thumbs up or you can clap. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So it looks like all of you understood what was taught today. And I'm very glad you asked questions and all. So and I hope that you keep the keywords in your head. All right. So, God willing, Wednesday we will proceed. So, we will start writing actual scripts or programs in Python. Okay. So, have a nice day. Enjoy your session. Okay. If you want to text me on WhatsApp, you can just text me. If you want to text, just go ahead and then just fly highs and hellos. Hi, Wings. I want to do this, but I'm facing issues. Fine. Yes. Hi, Wings. Good day. I want you to help me with this. But if you send hi and then wait for me to reply, you won't get. Okay. So yeah. So, so thank you. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Oh, Naki.
Statement consists of a variable name and equal sign.
Henry.
Okay, to a variable name So let's say